The Shep-Naz Podcast begins now.
Welcome to the Shep-Naz Podcast, a podcast from Shepherd Church designed to help you engage on a daily basis. My name is Rob, and I'm going to be the host of the podcast today. Normally Joey's here, but he's not, and so I'm going to be hosting. And in the studio with me today, or in the closet, whichever you want to call it, I have Nick and Noah from Johnstown, and Joe's over here making it all happen, making the magic happen. But we're excited to just kind of catch up on everything that God's doing in Johnstown right now. And so I want to welcome Nick and Noah to the podcast today. How's it going, guys?
Appreciate it.
Great.
It's going good. Great.
Awesome. Good deal. I was nervous about that part. Joey always does that part, and he does it really well. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. Also, if you're not watching this, I'm on the other side of the table, and it just feels weird. It's like when you go to church and you sit in the chair that you're not used to sitting in, everything is different. So I feel like I've never been here before on this side of the table anyway. So we wanted to just kind of catch up with things that are going on in Johnstown. We've had some big plans, and then we had some big wrinkles, but things are still happening, and God's still doing some really cool stuff. So tell us a little bit about Easter. So our goal was to launch in the new sanctuary, and we had everything all set, ready to go pretty much. We have some work to do still.
Yeah, we were moving good.
Yeah, but we got kind of moved out of the sanctuary a little bit, and so we ended up with Plan B. So why don't you take just a minute and tell everybody what happened on Easter, how we kind of adjusted to the things that were happening and what God's been doing there.
Yeah, so we had to shift kind of what we were planning on, which, was, to be honest, was a little bit of discouragement at first, as one would imagine. But like you said, we moved to Plan B and just moved right next door to the community center / fellowship hall. And it's a nice space, and we were going to put in a little bit just to make it a little bit nicer instead of just one big room. So we brought in those types of things to just make it feel more homey and appropriate for having a worship type service. And so that's what we did on Easter Sunday, and that was our first Sunday in the new location after moving from the school. And so we did a lot of things to bring a community awareness. We sent out mailers and had some social media campaigns going just to bring people's attention to what was going on. And so I was curious going into it of what to expect. Didn't really know what to expect, if it was just going to be standing room only, or if no one would notice or show up at all. So, but we went in there and had it set up, and it was a great Sunday. Had a lot of help to get prepared and things like that. We ended up having a lot of first-time guests from those mailers that we sent out, which was a great thing to see. So there was about 5 or 6 couples, families of 2 that showed up, and a few others from that. And they said, we got the mailer in the mail, and we live just real close here, so we just thought we'd come check it out. And so that was good to know that they got those, because I was a little, to be honest, worried that they didn't get sent out, because I kept checking our office mailbox there right next door, and I never got one at the house. But everyone said, even some of the church folks said, we got them in the mail. So good. That was good to hear. But it was a great Sunday, great time worshiping together, and made some new connections, and had good feedback from those first time guests. Just of hey, how was your experience today? Did you feel welcome? How's everything? People, they didn't care that we weren't next door. That was my next question. I was going to ask if any, because the flyer that we sent, or the postcard that we sent out, had a picture of the sanctuary on it. You could see a piece of the community center in it, but it clearly was not the center point of the promotion. And nobody seemed aggravated that they were in the community center. No. They probably wouldn't have even known any different anyway. No, and I that was part of my announcement. It's like, hey, we're eventually going to be moving next door. We were hoping to be ready by today, but just things happened out of our control that is pushing that back. So eventually we'll have kids ministry here while we're having worship services over at the church building. So
well, one of the cool things about launching in the community center on Easter is that we still have that launch in our pocket at the new place, and so we can make that another big deal, like a grand reopening or something, and sell things and have hot dogs and big flyers that, like, the person that dances in the wind.
Oh yeah, we could.
That'd be sweet.
Do all kinds of things, but and word is getting out. I mean, I mentioned that before, but even just yesterday, I met with someone that does mowing for he's not a living, but he does mowing, and I was having him come check out the property just to see, get a quote on things about maybe he might be able to do it.
Yeah, because mowing became our responsibility.
Yeah, so that'll be part of our keeping the grounds taken care of. But I was talking with him and said, and he said, I've been hearing all about what's going on, and that, do you guys own this now? And I said, no, we're in partnership with Youth for Christ. And he's like, well, it's great to see it being fixed up and used, because he's like, as long as I've lived here, it's just sat empty. And
wow.
So
it's cool.
Just another person in the community outside of the church to make comments like that. Been pretty cool.
Monica and I went to eat at a restaurant there the other day, a couple weeks ago, and we were walking around, and we went into a thrift shop or whatever, and it was kind of the small town feel, where it's like everybody was there talking about everybody, and not about everybody in a bad way, but like
catching up
in that town, you just know more stuff, like what's going on down the road, and of course intel is a big part of the conversation, but it was just kind of like, it was just like, we grew up in smaller towns than Gehenna, and it was like, oh, this is fun and home, and people talk, and there's a lot of value in the fact that people know what's going on. So you do
word gets out,
you do something in the community, word does get out. So it was cool. So another thing that was new on Easter then was Noah has been there to lead worship before, but there was his first official day on staff. So Noah, we're glad you're here, and
very glad.
Hearing lots of great stuff about worship and all the other ways that you're involved. So how do you feel like it went on Sunday? What was your thoughts on that?
I thought it went great. Just being, setting up and tearing down and being in a new spot for the first time. Yeah. I thought it went really great. And just being with everybody, worshiping with everybody, and just kind of creating that new atmosphere of worship, that it's more than music. It's a time where we're going to come before God, and we're going to worship. It's not, just music. So it's been it's been really great the past couple weeks.
Yep. And you've had some folks join you on the worship team each week. Yeah. And so that's been good. And if you're listening and you're gifted in that area, I'm not, and I know that. But if you are, we still are always looking for new people to get involved and help us out here in Gehenna and in Johnstown. So I think one of the things that I hope becomes a normal thing here is when we just talk about our church, we're talking about both places, because it is the same church in two different locations. So rather than having to say our church here and our church there, it's our church. Right. So we're excited about that.
Join us for Springfest 2024 at Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, a family event filled with joy and community spirit. Bring your kids to teach you songs and dances, and enjoy a warm welcome to our church family. Experience fun with inflatables, a petting zoo, face painting, crafts, and yard games. Savor free hot dogs, chips, and water, plus treat yourself with Kona Ice available for purchase. Mark your calendars for April 21st from 4 to 6 p.m. Don't miss out on the fun at Springfest. Shepherd Church is located at 425 South Hamilton Road, Gehenna, Ohio. Visit shepnaz.org/spring-fest.
So what's, either of you guys answer this question, what's the thing you're most excited about right now in Johnstown, the thing that's really got you pumped up?
Well, for me, it's just, I've shared this before about how when I first started, and for the first few months being the campus pastor there, and really as our church as a whole was in a time of transition with all the changes. But I've shared before that eventually the season of transition has to stop. Yeah. Like you can't always be in a season of transition. Eventually you have to say, we are stepping into the new season, the new that God has before us. And that's what I believe that we are in that season there in Johnstown. And so just the dreams that come with that of what could this look like, and all the things that have already changed with that location, and just kind of getting everyone aligned and pointed in the right direction, and then begin to move in the same direction together out into the community. And that's what I stressed about this move was, hey, this is not the end. Like just because we're moving, don't think, oh, finally we've arrived, and like you can kind of settle in and get content and complacent. It's really the launching point for helping people take their next step toward Jesus, whatever that looks like, in the church, outside of the church, in the community, in creative ways. And so that's what I'm most excited about, is the possibilities that are before us in with these changes, and having everyone kind of brought in alignment with our mission. And so we've already started doing that in little ways leading up to this. For example, things like our Alpha course that we've been doing on Wednesday nights. We're in the final stretch now. We've got at time of filming 4 weeks left of our Wednesday night Alpha group, and that's been really cool to be a part of, and just engaging people outside of the church. And if you're not familiar with Alpha course, I encourage you to check it out, look it up sometime, and just see what it's all about. But
and one thing that I think is really cool about the Alpha course you guys are running, there are people that are coming to Alpha that have not come to church on Sunday yet.
Right. Yeah.
So it's reaching more people than beyond the Sunday morning.
Right.
And the hope is that they would eventually step into the church at some point,
get connected,
and get connected in relationships with other people to develop their relationship with Christ. But that's exactly what that's designed for, to do. So that's cool. Yep.
And it's been cool for the participants, but also for the Alpha team that we've put together, those who help make it happen. It's been good to see them engage in those types of leadership roles and things, making it happen. So it's been very encouraging. Those are a few things I'm kind of excited about and dreaming about.
That's cool. Awesome.
What about you?
Yeah, probably the biggest thing I'm excited about is just watching the new people come in and feel loved, and feel. My girlfriend was able to come for the first time this past week with my cousin. And I forgot to tell you, but they after they're like, I've never been more welcomed into a church. I've never been more accepted, awesome. As a first timer, just watching, not even me and you as the leaders, watching people of the church, welcome them and treat them like they just care you're there. They care that somebody new walked in that they didn't recognize, and they made them. And watching, we had a gentleman fill out a connection card just saying he took a next step and that he's felt welcome. And that's just the coolest thing to me that I love, is that people are coming and seeing what we're doing. And because it's easy for us to kind of see the behind the scenes with not being able to launch and doing all the back stuff, but to see when we're praying before service, people are excited that we have a vision, that we're moving forward as a church. It just is so amazing to be a part of. And that's why I felt so when I came that one weekend to Northridge for the first time, just seeing everybody and myself being greeted. I was just I have to be a part of this. This is just something that I need to.
That's cool.
I need to be a part of. So
I think that's a testament to the people of the church in Johnstown.
Very much.
Who are part of the
Very
campus.
Much.
They're great people, love God, and serving Him in great ways. And God, from the very beginning, we always knew that God had left a remnant there to rebuild something great. And what you're talking about are those things that are going to make it great and reach people and effective. So it's really cool. Awesome.
Likewise.
Cool. Well, as we wrap up, what is if you guys could mention just one way that we can be praying for what God's doing there, what's priority now? What is it that we can be praying about?
I mean, well, of course, the hurdles that we've ran into with the physical building, just that those things that need to get taken care of would happen quickly, and in a timely manner.
I think one way to pray for that is that God would just help the Youth for Christ. It's their building, so there's some responsibility on their part, and they're a church or ministry, not a church, but a ministry. And so they're not flush with cash like most churches are not. So just to even pray that God would provide for them.
That's
the
a good
resources
way.
to help.
That's a great way of phrasing it, and also just for the continued alignment in the people getting involved, because right now what we're hoping to see for them is kind of a first impressions team so people getting plugged in and serving that way. And I know we're in the middle of this series, so hopefully that that is part of what we see happen is people getting plugged in with ministry position type of help. And so that's another way you could be praying for us. Cool.
Good. Know anything on your mind?
Just the worship team, just getting people that are in the Johnstown community involved that way. We are one church, but right now it's everybody from Gehanna coming. And so I'd love to establish, whether that's going into the schools and meeting teens who want to play, but just getting that, team in Johnstown that are part of that congregation that they're serving, that the people they're seeing every week, they're also on stage serving in that way. So just praying for that to kind of form and do it the right way.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. Good. Very good. Well, I'm a little bit nervous for this podcast to end because I know there's something that I'm supposed to say and Joey does it, and usually I'm not listening when he does it. So, but we do want to thank you for joining us today. We're excited about that. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at podcast@shepnaz.org. Be sure to check us out on social media at shepnaz.org and Facebook and Instagram and all that other stuff that's out there. So thanks for joining us today. Have a great day. God bless you, and hope to see you soon.
This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gehanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.